And we will start in a comfortable seated position. And if you have some sage oil, oops, I want to go get my sage oil because that's the wrong one. Okay, so coming to a comfortable seated position and taking out your sage oil. Sage is the oil for tonight. Just put a few drops on your hands. And sage is a really good clearing oil, right? Clearing energetically. It helps us to shift from negative thought patterns to positive. So rub the sage oil between your hands. And then just cup your hands over, you don't have to touch your face, but just in front of your face. And take a couple breaths in. Inhaling. And exhaling. Now just take your hands and rub them on your throat. So one of the things, you can let your hands come down to your lap. One of the things we want to talk about is Satya. All right, we have one of the rocks at the studio that says Satya on it. Satya is truth and our own inner truth. So we, right now, it's hard to speak our real voice. There's so much going on around us and we feel as if we need to be happy, or we need to say we're good, or conversely, we feel guilty for being happy. So let's find, when we run from those feelings, it creates a sort of a difficulty in our energy, where our energy isn't flowing, and where we can't really connect with ourselves. We're kind of just running around like little mice. So instead, let's tonight think about Satya, about truth. And let's inhale and exhale and roll your eyes inside your head and kind of identify what feelings you feel without any judgment. Maybe you feel scared. Maybe you feel isolated. Maybe you feel frustrated. Maybe you feel happy. Maybe you feel tired. So whatever feelings are there, identify those feelings, name them, and then breathe. Now we're going to bring our hands into a mudra for truth, as we do a little meditation on truth. So you're going to take your hands and just cup them together, bringing your right hand over top of your left. And just let your hands rest in your lap. And this is the Samputa Mudra for cultivating truthfulness, Satya. So you can close your eyes. And take several breaths, letting your breath flow gently upward into your throat. And allow you to breathe more freely within this area of your being. Right, our voice, our truthfulness. And as your breath flows more freely, take some time to attune to the subtle sound of the breath within your air pathways. And sense how this inhalation naturally makes the sound so within your throat. And how your exhalation kind of naturally makes the sound ham within your throat. So, inhaling and exhaling, meaning I am. Okay, this is your authentic being, your truthfulness. beyond the limitations of your personality. As you align with your true being, you naturally hear your inner voice of truth speaking, guiding your journey of transformation and awakening. And as you hear this voice, take some time to reflect on a challenge that you're currently facing. Allow this issue to rest within your throat center, taking several breaths to reflect on how it would normally be addressed at the level of your personality. And now focus on the sound of so hum within your throat and create a space of inner listening that allows wisdom to rise from within your being. Take several breaths to listen clearly and carefully to these messages from your true being, seeing this issue with greater clarity. Now vision the wisdom you've received being integrated into all of your activities and your entire life journey. And then saying to yourself 3 times, with your eyes closed, aligned with the voice of my inner being, I communicate clearly and truthfully. Aligned with the voice of my inner being, I communicate clearly and truthfully. Aligned with the voice of my inner being, I communicate clearly and truthfully. Feel that taking hold in the throat. And on your next inhale, you're going to inhale your arms overhead. And exhale, draw your hands down to heart center. Now you're going to inhale your arms overhead, your arms slowly rising. And then exhale to twist to the right. Your right hand coming behind you, left hand across your body. And hold here, relax your shoulders down. Soften your jaw. Breathe into the throat, that truthfulness, your inner being. Sink into that connection. And then inhale to center. Let your hands come down to heart center. And then inhale your arms overhead. And exhale to twist to the left. Your right hand comes across you, your left hand behind your body. Soften your shoulders down, relaxing your eyes and your jaw. Breathing in and out. Feel the breath in the throat. Into that truthfulness, that the inner being being the voice. And then inhale to center. And you're going to exhale, take your hands down to heart center. And then release your hands alongside you, your hands coming to the mat. And you're going to let your left ear drop to your left shoulder. Breathe into the right side of your neck. Inhaling and exhaling. Nice. Soften your eyes. Relax your jaw. Maybe open and close the jaw. And now allow your chin to drop down to your chest. Inhale, allow the chest to rise up to the chin. And now hold your breath here. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. And slowly exhaling, crown of your head rising. Allow your right ear to drop down to your right shoulder. Again, relaxing your eyes, softening your jaw. Breathing in and out, your breath flowing down into your belly, into your ribs, and in the throat. And then you'll let your chin again drop down to your chest and take a deep breath in. Feel that breath full, the chest rising to the chin, and now hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And slowly exhaling, crown of the head rising. Beautiful. Slide your right arm out and take your left arm overhead. Breathing into your left side, let your left side open. And then you'll come up to center. Slide your left arm out, bring your right arm overhead. Breathe into your right side body. And now come up to center. Take your hands to your knees and just start to circle your spine gently. And bring movements here into the shoulders and the neck. And then just reverse the direction, your neck flowing, your shoulders. Find how these movements feel really good in your body and being gentle with your body. And then just come up to center. And now let the movement come into the core and circling the core in one direction and then the opposite direction. And coming back to center. So take your feet to the floor and allow your knees to fall side to side gently, waking up your hips from that seated meditation. And now you bring the soles of your feet together. I'm going to take my socks off. You can take your socks off if you like. And let your knees open into the butterfly. So our feet are together. And if you have sensitivity in your knees, you can of course take some blocks underneath your knees or pillows and fold forward over your legs. Let your head hang. Relax through the shoulders, like even take your hands up to your shoulders and where your neck meets your shoulders, and massage there a little bit, a self massage, right? We are probably missing touch right now. And give yourself a little bit of touch. Maybe up your neck. Go ahead and just walk the fingers up the neck and down. And maybe bringing your fingers into your jaw area, relax the jaw. And then release your hands down, let your head hang. Breathe in and breathe out. Soften, melt here, melt on your mat, let go. Find that inner being, that truth. Rounding up through your spine, one vertebrae at a time. And an inhale overhead. And then as your hands come down, just bring your hands down in front of you. Smell that smell of the sage oil again. And exhale, releasing. Go ahead and bring your knees together and your legs out long on the mat in front of you. You're gonna inhale your arms overhead and then reach up through your right arm, up through your left, through each side. And then fold forward over your legs, melting your body here. Relax your shoulders. Let the backs of your legs soften onto the floor. Feel that breath in the throat. Your voice of truth, Satya. And rounding up through your spine, one vertebrae at a time. Roll your shoulders up and down and back. And then bring your right sole of your foot to the floor. And you're going to inhale up through your left arm, so you're lengthening your left side. And then twist towards your right knee. Hug your right knee into your chest and bring your right hand behind you, pressing it onto the floor. So hold here, breathing. Let this twist open the body, bringing fresh circulation to our digestive organs. Maybe gazing over your right shoulder. Go ahead and come back to center. Bring your right leg out long and now take the left sole of the foot to the mat. Inhale up through your right fingertips, lengthen your right side, and then twisting towards your left knee. Your left hand comes behind you. Press the spine forward, crown of the head rising, and breathing here. Dropping the shoulders down, soften your eyes. Allow the sole of the left foot to anchor to the floor. And then you're going to release. Bring your left leg out long in front of you. Circle your ankles, circling them in one direction and then the other direction. And then you're going to point and flex your feet, pointing and flexing. Now lift your toes, point towards the ceiling, and you're going to rotate your right toes off to the right, and bring your right leg out, maybe a couple feet, and then rotate the right toes back towards your left leg, and bringing your right leg in to meet your left. And you're just going to keep doing this movement, right toes rotate out, and then in, and out, and in, right, you're going to feel this up into your hip joint, and in, and out, and in. Nice. And then we'll do the left leg. So your left toes rotate off to the left. Bring your left leg out, and then left toes rotate towards your right leg, and in, and out, and in. Feeling that up in your left hip joint, out, and in, and out, and in. And let's do one more on this side, out, and in. So now take your hands out in front of you and circle your wrists. Circling them in one direction. And then circle them in the opposite direction. And now let your left fingertips point down towards the floor. And you're going to pull your left fingertips back with your right hand. Press the left wrist forward. Yes. Enjoy that opening in the left wrist. So now allow your right fingertips to point down. You're going to take your left hand to your right fingertips. Press your right wrist forward. Feel that opening in your right wrist. Enjoy that. Yes, that feels good. And then take your elbows together and thread your fingers together. And you're going to figure eight your wrists in one direction and then taking them in the opposite direction. And now roll your palms, open your palms, pressing forward, pressing out through the palms of your hands. And then release, bring your arms overhead, thread your fingers together, roll your palms to face up. Beautiful. And then release your hands down to your sides. So now bend your knees and take you have your left foot in, your right foot out slightly if this is comfortable, or whatever is a comfortable seated position for you. So take your left hand and just massage the sole of your left foot. We have all these marma points on our feet. So maybe even drawing your thumbs just up the foot to each toe. And now you're going to take your left hand and thread your left hand between the toes on your right foot. I know it feels a little awkward if you haven't done it before, but it's really nice to spread the toes. And then you're going to use your hand to move your ankle. So move it in one direction and then the other direction, and let your ankle be soft so that your hand is doing the movement. And then maybe even the hand starts to point and flex the foot. Nice. And then release your right leg down to the mat. And now you'll take your left foot out, your left leg out slightly from the right. Massage the sole of the left foot with your right hand. Yeah, go ahead and make that feel good. Maybe those lines with the thumbs up the foot to the toes. And then you're going to take your right hand and thread it between, right fingers, thread it then between the toes on the left foot. And now begin to circle your ankle with your right hand. Circle in both directions. And then maybe pointing and flexing the foot with the right hand. And release your left foot down to the mat. Go ahead and inhale overhead. You're going to take your left hand on your right wrist. Just pull the right arm up a little bit, opening the right side. Then take your right hand to your left wrist, pulling the left arm up, opening the left side. And then release your hands behind you. Roll your shoulders up and down and back. And do that again. Up and down and back. Go ahead and bring your knees around behind you and come to tabletop. And I want you to make this movements like a cat here. Making a foot, little biscuits on the mat with your hands, like you're a cat and needing the bed space where you're gonna lie down and get cozy and comfy. So now you're going to take with your right hand and start to slide your right arm back and inhale, bring your right arm reaching way forward. Bring the right arm back and inhale it forward and sliding back. Inhale it forward. And then we'll switch to the left arm. So now your left arm coming back up, inhaling way forward. Coming back, inhale, reach forward. Coming back and inhale forward. And then go ahead and come to your flat back. You're going to now take your fingers and point your fingers back towards your knees. So now our insides of our elbows are pointing forward and our fingers are pointing back towards our feet. And you can take little movement back here if you're not feeling the wrist opening. Pressing into the wrists helps. Press into the wrists, and you should feel a nice opening through the forearm, inner forearms, through the wrists. And then maybe even let your fingers come up. Be gentle. And then releasing back to the mat. And you're going to go ahead and raise your right leg behind you and your left arm in front of you. You're lengthening the spine here. Feel the body growing longer, longer, longer. Breathe here. Your right shoulder over your right wrist, your left hip over your left knee. And then let your left hand come down to the mat and your right foot comes off to the left side of your mat. Just gaze back towards that right foot. Using these physical practice to find the truth, right? To find your own inner being. I'm going to release your right knee down to meet your left. And raising your left leg behind you and your right arm in front of you. And right, as we practice, sometimes our feelings come to surface as we're engaging with our inner truth. Our feelings start to bubble up, and you can allow that to happen in your practice. Right? It can be a safe space for that to happen, the release of the feelings that we have right now. And maybe the sage oil, that clearing energy oil, helps with that release. You'll let your right hand come down to the mat and your left foot comes off to the right side of your mat. You're going to gaze back towards your left foot. Feeling the right shoulder curling towards the right hip. And then you release back to center, coming to tabletop. You're going to press back for child's pose. Let your body melt here, folding onto the mat. Inhaling and exhaling. And then you walk your hands off to the left side of your mat, bringing your right hand on top of your left. Let the body melt here. Breathe into your right side. Maybe even, rolling off a little bit into your right hip. Now walk your hands to center and then off to the right side of your mat. Your left hand comes on top of your right now. Folding. Let your breath deepen and let go of anything that you don't need right now on the mat. And maybe some of that are emotions you can let go of. Name them and maybe then connect deeper beneath the emotions. So bringing your hands forward. You're going to slide your hands slightly forward. Come forward over your hands with the weight of your body in a half plank. And then lower all the way down to the mat. And you're going to take your hands out wider than mat distance, making little teepees with your hands. So your fingers are on the floor and your palms are raised. And you're just going to gently roll into each shoulder. Take your hands beneath your shoulders. You're gonna press back up into tabletop. Walk your hands back towards your knees. You're gonna come up onto your knees. Slide your hands up your knees. Inhale your arms overhead. And then on your exhale, let your left hand come out to the side. Right arm overhead, right leg out. Open the front body. Breathing here. And then you're going to come back up to center. Inhale your arms overhead. Deep inhale and exhale. Let your right hand come out to the side. Now your left leg comes out to the side and left arm overhead. Open the front body. Breathing. And then you're going to come back to center. Inhale overhead. And exhale, take your hands forward again, coming back into that half plank. And you're gonna lower all the way down to the mat. We're just gonna take a little flow to warm up here. Float back to your child's pose. And then inhale, come forward over the hands. Exhale, lower down to the mat. And press back for child's pose. Do a few like this. Inhaling forward, exhaling, lowering down, and pressing back. So just flowing through. Inhaling forward, exhale, lower down, and press back. And really the joy, getting feeling of the energy beginning to move in your body. Any tightness from maybe sitting at the computer today, any tightness from stress and from avoiding satya, right? Avoiding that inner truth. So next time you come forward, curl your toes under and press back for your first down dog. Bend your right knee deeply. And then bend your left knee deeply. Go ahead and walk the dog, one knee and the other. You can even pick your feet up if you like. Kind of like we're making biscuits with our feet like we were with our hands. And then gaze forward and do that with your hands again, those biscuits on the mat with your hands in your down dog. Now press back into both feet. And you're gonna walk your feet forward to the top of the mat. And then take your hands to opposite elbows. And just let your head hang. Maybe swing a little bit side to side. Find some softness. And release your hands down to the mat. Now, bend your knees enough so that your hands can come right to the tops of your feet. And press the tops of your feet into the mat. Maybe even go ahead and pick your toes up and spread your toes. And you can use your fingers to help spread your toes. And then bring your hands back onto your feet again. Notice that grounding feeling, huh? And you're gonna round up through your spine. One vertebrae at a time. Roll your shoulders up and down and back. Beautiful. Inhale overhead. Exhale, fold forward, hands coming through heart center. Let your hands come down to the mat or to your shins. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, just release down. And you're gonna round up through your spine again. Inhale overhead. Now exhale, fold forward through heart center. Release your hands, release your neck, round up through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Beautiful. Inhale overhead, and you're gonna exhale, fold forward. Now this time, inhale, lengthen through your spine. And then exhale, release down. Take your hands to the top of the mat, and you're gonna step back with your right foot into a lunge. Coming down to your right knee, top of your right foot. And if your knee is sensitive, just put a blanket underneath your right knee. Keep yourself comfy. So allow your hips to sink in here, breathing. You can have your hands on blocks if you like. You can have your hands overhead or keeping them on the mat. Breathe into the opening. Allow the hips to melt. Feel your breath. So you take your right hand and reach your right arm forward and then open up to the sky, circling it back. We'll do that again. Inhale, reach it forward and circle back. And again, inhale forward and circling back and down. And then we'll do the opposite side. Reach forward with your left arm, circling back and down. Inhale forward, exhale back and down. Now inhale forward and exhale back and down. You're going to draw your left hip back, folding over the left leg. So here I want you to take some breaths to lengthen your spine. You're going to inhale, lengthen out through the crown of your head. And then exhale, fold in. Inhale, lengthen out through the crown of your head. Exhale, folding in. Inhale, lengthen and folding in. So you're going to walk your hands back. Take your hands to the inside of your left leg, and you're going to bring your left leg out to the side. So your left foot's in line with your right heel. And go ahead and press up. You're going to inhale overhead and exhale. Take your left hand, slide it down your left leg, your right arm reaching up and over to open the right side body. Beautiful. Now coming back to center, bend your left knee so your knees come together. Inhale overhead. And you're going to exhale. Take your hands forward to the top of the mat and now press back for your down dog. In down dog here, bend both of your knees to come down towards the mat and then press back into your heels and bend your knees and press back into the heels and bend the knees and press back into the heels. Now go ahead and gaze forward between your hands and walk your feet forward to the top of the mat. Anchor your feet and then round up through your spine. One vertebrae at a time. Inhale overhead. You're going to exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Close your eyes for a moment. Pause in your practice. Feel the feet anchoring to the mat. Feel the crown of the head rising. The fronts of the legs reaching for the backs of the legs. And maybe your breath can deepen a little bit. Any amount. Finding that truth. Where we can act from our inner being. Inhale your arms overhead and then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen to a flat back. And then as you exhale, you're going to release your hands down to the mat. Step back with your left foot into a lunge. Coming down to your left knee, top of your left foot. And again, you can put a blanket underneath your left knee if you like. And hold here. You can have blocks underneath your hands if you want. Let your hips melt. Breathe into the hips. Feel just this dissolving of any tightness in the hips. Dissolving of any stress there. Melt. So now we're going to take some arm movements with our lunge. You're going to inhale your right arm forward, circling it back and down. Inhale it forward, circling back and down. Inhale, left arm forward and circling back and down. And then we'll do the right arm. Inhale forward, circle back and down. Inhale forward, circling, and inhale forward, and circling. Nice. Now from here, you're going to go ahead and draw your right hip back, folding over the right leg. You're going to inhale, lengthen out through the crown of the head, and then exhale, sink in a little more. Inhale, lengthen the spine through the crown of the head. Exhale, hinge in. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, folding in. And now you're going to go ahead and walk your hands back, and you'll bring your right leg off to the side. Don't have quite enough room here. You're going to inhale overhead, and then slide your right hand down your right leg, left arm overhead, opening your left side body. Nice. Feel that. Feels so good. Opening, using our body, inhabiting our body. And then you're going to go ahead and come back to center. Right knee meeting left. Come on to tabletop. And in tabletop here, round your spine into cat. Let your head hang. Your spine reaches up towards the ceiling. And then allow your belly to drop. Your sits bones reach up, crown of your head rising. Now hold here with your belly, release down, and maybe wiggle a little bit side to side with the hips. You can kind of come forward and back into each hip. Now coming to center, hold the belly up and in, contracting the core, curl your toes under, and press back for your down dog. Breathing. Inhale and exhale. And now you're going to walk your feet forward to the top of the mat and round up through your spine. One vertebrae at a time. Roll your shoulders up and down and back. And you're going to inhale overhead. On your exhale, take your hands to heart center and step back for warrior one. So find your warrior one, sinking into the left knee, bend your left knee, drop the shoulders, like maybe even take your hands right to massage where the neck meets the shoulders again. Let that area be loose. And then bring your arms overhead. Anchor into the feet. Beautiful. You're going to release your hands behind you. Clasp your hands together to roll your shoulders open, and then hinge forward over your left leg in humble warrior. Breathe. You're going to come back up. Release your arms overhead. Inhale, and then exhale, step forward to the top of the mat. Right foot meets left. You're going to inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, step back with your left foot into warrior one. Hands coming down to heart center. So now bend into your right knee. Feel your warrior one. Hips facing forward. Maybe touching the shoulders again, dropping the shoulders down to lengthen your neck. Bringing your arms overhead. Breathe here. Feel your feet anchoring into the mat. The power of Warrior One, Virabhadrasana One. Breathe. This is your power. Let your arms come behind you. Clasp your hands together, and then you're gonna fold forward over your right leg in Humble Warrior. Releasing your head. Nice, beautiful. You can go ahead and come back up. Bring your arms overhead. Inhaling, and as you exhale, step forward to the top of the mat. Left foot meeting right. Release your arms down to your sides, and you're going to take your right toes to the mat. And just circle your right toes, circling your right ankle, and then up into the right knee, up into the right hip. Nice. Yes. Release the energy in the right leg. Let it flow. And then stepping your right foot down, take your left toes behind you to the floor. Circle your left foot up into your left ankle, up into your left knee, the left hip. Yeah, let go through this left leg. Let go of any constriction. And then stepping together, left foot meeting right. You're gonna inhale overhead again. Exhale, step back with your right foot into Warrior One. Find your Warrior One. Inhale your arms overhead. And then as you exhale, open into Warrior Two. Sinking down, relax your shoulders, fingertips, releasing energy out through the fingertips. Nice. Let your right hand come down your right leg. Left arm overhead, open into Reverse Warrior. Now come forward for side angle. Left elbow to left thigh, right arm overhead, right arm reaching for where the wall meets the ceiling. Bend into your left knee. Nice. You're gonna come back up for Warrior Two, and then rotate forward for Warrior One. Inhale, exhale, step to the top of the mat. Nice. Inhale overhead, and then exhale, hands come down to heart center. Left foot comes back for Warrior One. Inhale your arms overhead, and exhale, open into your Warrior Two, sinking down. Relax the arms and the shoulders. Breathe. Nice. Find your Warrior Two. All this hip opening in Warrior Two, it feels so good. Let the chest open, let the hips open. And then left hand down, left leg, right arm overhead, opening your right side. Breathing. Enjoy. And then right elbow to right thigh, left arm overhead, and this left hand's reaching for where the wall meets the ceiling. Still bending into your right knee. Nice, nice. Hip opening. I'm going to come back up for your Warrior Two. And then you'll rotate forward into Warrior One. Inhale and exhale, step forward to the top of the mat, hands coming to heart center. Awesome. Let your arms come down alongside you and just swing your arms side to side. Relax your shoulders, maybe circling your neck. Very nice. And then you're gonna come to, I'm gonna come to the center of my mat, you can be anywhere. Find a spot to fix your gaze on for our balancing. So I'm gonna start with tree. We're going to do tree, and then we'll come into dancer, a little heart opening. So Anchor into both feet, maybe rock back and forth on your feet. And then find this solid positioning where you feel your toes, you feel the ball of your foot, the heel of your foot, the outside edge of your foot, both feet. Take a couple breaths, maybe even close your eyes for a couple breaths just to anchor. And then slowly opening your eyes and find that spot to fix your gaze on. You're going to shift your weight onto your right foot, raising your right knee. Now your toes can stay on the floor if that's where you're at, and just opening the right knee. Or you can bring your right foot up to your right calf or your right inner thigh, choosing where your body needs you to be. That's part of the truthfulness, is listening to our own body. Right? That's the connection with our inner being. And bring your arms overhead. Grounding. And you release your hands out to your sides. You're going to take your right knee forward and then take a hold of your right foot with your right hand. Your left hand comes forward and just hinge forward any amount. It doesn't have to be far. I'd rather see the spine lengthening than contracting the spine. So just as much as it's comfortable for you. You can take your left hand against a wall if you like. And sometimes that allows more heart opening if we can use the wall for our balance. And then when you're done, release. Maybe hug your right knee into your chest and release it down. Go ahead. Take 5 pointed star to let go, up through one arm, down through each foot, and then coming back together. So close your eyes for a couple breaths. Find your anchoring here. The breath deepening. And then slowly opening your eyes to find your drishti. And shift your weight onto your right foot, raising your left knee. And opening your left knee to the side for tree. Now it could be with your toes on the floor, or your calf, or up to your inner thigh. Listening to your body. Arms coming overhead. Nice. Anchoring. And you're going to release your arms out to your sides. Take your left knee forward. You're going to take a hold of your left foot with your left hand. And then your right arm comes forward and hinging forward any amount. It doesn't have to be far, right? It's the opening the heart. That's what dancer is about, opening the heart. Beautiful. And go ahead and release. 5 pointed star up through both arms, down through both legs. And back together at the top of the mat. And you're going to inhale overhead and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, release down, and you're going to step back for plank. And then you're going to go ahead and take your right knee to the mat, your right hand in line with your right knee, and raising your left arm up towards the ceiling for side plank. You're going to circle your left arm down towards your toes, around and up. Just circle it again, down towards your left foot, around and up, and one more circle, down, around and up. Nice. Then square your hips towards the mat. You can come on both knees. So now your left knee stays on the mat. Then bring your right leg out long, raising your right arm. Nice. And now circle this right arm down towards your feet, around and up, and circling down, around and up, and one more. Down, around, and up. Square your hips towards the mat, and you're going to take your knees out mat distance apart and just press back for a wide-legged child's pose. Melt here. Inhaling and exhaling. Now, remembering how your own hands felt massaging where your neck meets your shoulders. Envision that somebody's kind of taking their hands and just walking their hands up and down your spine, and feel that sensation. As they walk their hands from your lower back up to your mid back, the hands on the upper back, and then maybe back down. Now take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, melt your entire spine. And you'll walk your hands in towards your body. And you're going to go ahead and swing your legs around to come down onto your back on the mat. Nice. Hug both of your knees into your chest and just rock a little side to side. And you're gonna take your arms out in goalpost arms or in a T on the floor. Scoot your hips off to the right. This will help to line up the spine and the twist, and let your knees fall to the left. You'll gaze off to the right. Breathing into any areas of tightness. Inhaling. And exhaling, letting your body completely surrender on the mat. As the body surrenders, drawing your attention inward. Noticing what feelings are there, maybe naming them. And then letting go of the feelings and the thoughts and connecting to that space between the thoughts. So you're going to roll back onto your back, bring your knees to center, and your hips to center, and hug your knees in and out. And you're going to scoot your hips off to the left side of your mat, bringing your arms out again in goalpost arms or in a T. Let your knees fall to the right side of your mat and gazing to the left. And again, melt here like an ice cube in the sun, just completely surrendering to your mat. So there's even kind of this sensation of the mat holding you up. Relax your jaw, let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. Now you're gonna bring your knees back to center, your hips to center. Hug your knees in and out. And take your left leg down to the mat. Bring your right arm overhead and thread your fingers behind your right leg. I'm encouraging the right leg to come closer to the chest. Breathing here, soft gaze up towards your right foot. Feel the right hip heavy. You're gonna bend your right knee and take your right ankle to your left thigh. And then raise your left leg overhead as if you're making a footprint on the ceiling. Thread your fingers behind your left thigh. Let the hips be heavy. You may be using your right elbow to open the right inner thigh. And breathe into your right hip. Nice soft gaze up towards your left foot. You're going to release your left foot down to the mat, your knee bent, your right foot down to the mat, your knee bent. Let your knees fall side to side a couple times. You're going to bring your knees back to center and you're going to raise your left leg up towards the ceiling. Thread your hands behind your left thigh and encouraging your left leg towards your chest. Soft gaze up towards the left foot. Breathing, the left hip's heavy on the mat. Nice, softening, melting, surrendering. And then you're gonna bend your left knee, take your left ankle across your right thigh, raise your right leg up towards the sky, thread your fingers behind the right thigh. The hips are heavy, and breathe into the opening of the left hip. Inhaling and exhaling, melting, letting go, coming into you, that connection created by our practice. Another breath here. And you're going to release the sole of your right foot to the floor, the sole of your left foot to the floor. Let your knees fall side to side. Bring your feet up to make footprints on the ceiling and take a hold of your big toes or the outside edges of your feet or the inside edges of your feet, or you move behind your knees. And let your hips release down to the mat and then press up through the feet as if you're gonna make those footprints on the ceiling. Draw the shoulders back into the shoulder sockets. And then you can take any movements here you like. If you want to open one leg and then the other, if you want to rock side to side, or if you want to bring your feet in together, you can do that. So once you've had enough movements, everybody go ahead and bring your feet together. And then you're going to let your feet come down to the mat. Your knees open to the sides. And bring your arms overhead so the backs of your hands touch the floor overhead. Take a couple of breaths here. Notice any feelings that arise in this position. And then bring your hands to your belly. Relax your shoulders open. Soften your hips on the mat, the back of your head on the mat. Relax your tongue. Breathe into your right inner thigh. A full inhale. And exhale, melt the right inner thigh. Breathe into your left inner thigh. And then exhale, melt the left inner thigh. Bringing your knees back to center. Take the heels of your hands to your hip creases and press the hip creases down towards the feet. Roll the shoulders open at the same time to maintain that opening across the chest. Just take a couple of breaths here with this kind of traction for the spine. Full breath, full inhale, full exhale. Now you're going to release your hands gently. Bring your knees into your chest and release any tension in the lower back, circling the knees. And then bring your legs long on the mat for Savasana. Grab any props you need if you want something under your knees for your lower back, or you want a blanket on you. Find however you need to get cozy for Savasana. Go ahead and relax onto the mat. Begin by noting the contact points on the mat, your backs of your hands, the back of your head, your heels, your hips. Relax your right arm. Soften your left arm. Soften your right leg and your left leg. Relax your jaw. Allow your eyes to soften that space between your eyebrows to grow more expansive. Bring your attention to your breath. Melting breath by breath. Feeling this energy of community we have in Savasana together. Each of us in our own homes, finding our inner peace. Becoming aware of your right toes, little movements, your left toes, and little movements in the right fingers and the left fingers. And bringing your right knee into your chest, and then your left. And roll to the side of your body in a safe fetal position. And connecting in with your satya and truth. We're going to slowly press up to a comfortable seated position. Bringing your hands together at heart center. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. And may you be free. Namaste.